So in this video I'm going to be replacing the seal around the indicator lens here. So no special tools required for this job. Phillips or crosshead screwdriver to remove the little cosmetic panel that sits underneath the headlamp unit. A flathead screwdriver, quite a large one, to remove the headlamp unit from the body of the car. And then to separate the indicator lens from the headlamp unit, you want a little 8mm socket. Now on this particular car, I found that I also needed an 8mm spanner because one of the nuts that holds on the indicator lens was a little bit too close in to part of the frame of the headlamp unit to get the socket in. So you might find a spanner works better. In fact, you could use a spanner for all of the 3 retaining nuts. So you use seal and then some penetrating fluid, particularly since the nuts that hold the indicator lens to the unit are quite rusty and you don't want to put much torque on them because the threads into the indicator lens are just buried in the plastic, which will snap off if you're not careful. I also found some Gunmi Pflege was useful, just because when you're ordering new seals these days, a lot of the time it's quite old, new old stock. So this one I treated earlier with Gunmi Pflege, but originally when I took it out of the packet, it actually had quite a kind of whitey grey appearance, and although the rubber was in perfectly good condition, it just didn't look great. Whereas I gave it a bit of a spray of the Gunmi Pflege and it brought the nice black colour back to life. So I'm just going to whip off this little cosmetic plate that goes underneath the trim here. You've got that screw down there, and then you've got another screw vertically in this section here, which will just unscrew. And that kind of just slides off and then it can drop. If you're not taking the whole thing apart, you can just let that sit, kind of rest in the gap between the bumper and the body. So you've got 3 flat-headed screws you need removing to release the headlamp from the body. 1, 2, and 1 and there. This one here. There we come. Got to tilt it, just tilt it forwards like that. Clear it from the bumper. Just rest it on your knee or something. Pull the black connector off the back. Okay. There we go. I have to say I've seen a lot worse. There is a bit of bubbling in the corner here. I don't quite know how long ago this car was repainted. Sometime in the last 5-10 years, I'd imagine. But this is just such a water trap here, and replacing the seal will help a little bit, because what happens is water comes down over the lip here or down the inside of the channel and it just collects there because there is no real way for it to escape. And quite often you'll see cars that you look perfectly fine from the outside, no rust whatsoever. You take the headlight unit out and there's just like a massive hole there, and all this structure here is just like completely gone. Now I've got to undo these 3 nuts to separate the indicator lens from the headlamp unit. And if these look rusty, I would put some penetrating fluid, WD-40 or Blaster or whatever you've got, on them first and let them sit for a little while. So this is one off another car, and these are the threads for those little nuts. And as you can see, where the corner one should be, it's very easy to snap them off because that is just embedded in the plastic moulding, and the torque needed to break off a rusty nut there is probably going to exceed the torque needed to break that. So be really careful here and just let them sit. If you feel resistance, just go really, really carefully. That one, despite looking rusty, actually undid really easily. If we come up here. Now here, you might find that you need a spanner to get to that one, because there's very little clearance between the nut and the edge of the frame there. So you might find that the socket doesn't quite go over now. So take the seal off so that you can grip the plastic lens a bit more easily. Obviously you won't be able to get it off there, because that's why we need to get the lens off, but we now need to just gently ease that lens out through the holes. There you go. She comes. Now this is a newly ordered part, but as you can see, it's quite grey looking. It's not the nice kind of black colour that you'd expect a new rubber seal to be, and I think that's because this is new old stock probably, and inevitably a little bit of the colour is lost. It still feels pretty pliant, but what I'm going to do is just take a bit of Gunmi Pflege and just give it a little spray on there, just to protect it a bit, and also restore some of the colour. Obviously the colour, it will discolour a bit eventually again, but it just extend its life a bit. More annoying putting a brand new seal on the car and it all looks grey and sun faded. That's just rubber for you. Just wipe off the excess with a cloth. There, and immediately that looks so much better, doesn't it? Right, so let's pop this on. Little flap on the back kind of goes between the two. It goes around the outside. I can see some evidence down here under the seal where it looks like there might have been a bit of glue put on there. As far as I'm aware, it's not a requirement to glue these seals on. There should just be a friction fit. Test fit our lens. Just check the lens is clean on the inside before refitting it. It'd be a bit silly to refit it without. Make sure it's all nice and clean. Turn it over. Make sure that it's not, it's all kind of lined up with the edge properly. Yeah, looks good. Just do them up, do them up in stages, just so that you've got the fit. All right. So once again, just want to connect up our multi-plugs for the lights. Like that to get it. Tip it kind of like that to get it in. Lower it in. There you go. Nice and find up the holes. Located. Slightly offset nature of this bottom one closest to the grill is really annoying, because it's a flat head. It doesn't naturally just sit on the end of the screwdriver particularly well. If you turn it, start off with it horizontal like that, and you might just be able to feed it in very slowly to the hole. There you go. Go slow, because obviously if you drop it down the front valance, it might get stuck. And then, elevate our little trim trim piece back into position. Back there, just get some screws back in. It's a bit flimsy, this little cosmetic eyebrow panel, to be honest. And there we go. To be honest, it's not a great fit, the seal. There's still opportunity for a bit of water to get sort of behind the indicator there, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Obviously, having removed the headlamp unit and reinstalled it, there is a chance that the beam may now be off. I'm not going to worry about it too much now, especially since it's the summer, but next time it's in the garage I might just ask them to check it.